Welcome, everybody. It's wonderful to have you here. Welcome to our channel. I'm Emma Milanathi, also known as Reiki Emma, and I will be your host for today's session. I am joined here today by very special guest, Tanvir Anwar, and he is going to introduce himself in just a moment. I will just introduce myself first. So I'm a Reiki master teacher and practitioner. I have lineages in Eastern and Western branches, both of which come together with my Reiki master, Torsten Lang. I'm also a shiatsu practitioner student and a holistic practitioner and very geeky about all things energy work. So without further ado, Tanvir, and he's going to introduce himself to you.
Thank you, Ima, and thanks for having me. And thanks to all of our audience who showed their interest to being in this channel. So I am Tanvir Anwar. I would like to say myself as a student of spirituality, though I explore in different modality of spirituality such as dowsing, house healing, Reiki as well. So let me go a little bit back. So since when I started my journey. My current profession is a software developer, but apart from that, I would like to say myself as a spiritual person. So back in 2013, so when I was in a business, so that business was not going very well. So we are having a very hard time. Then I found a leaflet. It was showing that do meditation to get relief from anxiety, stress, or these sort of things. So I enrolled for the course. And since then, I have started to feel deeper connection with meditation, spirituality, and the divinity. But since my childhood, I was also very religious as well. So it's like I always wanted to connect it with the divine. But the thing is, I was following the strict regime of the religion to figure it out that how to get the divine. So I was doing all those ritual what a seeker generally does. So I try to do all those things, but I was not feeling quite connected with the divine. So
I know what
since
that's like. Yes, I've had a similar thing myself.
right, so when I introduced to meditation, the teacher told to us to look inside us. So when I started to do that practice, so I found something different. It's like if we go inside if we try to connect ourselves with our inner self, then we started to get the answer which was inside me, but I didn't know those answer consciously. So since then I started develop the connection with the spirituality. And then after 2 years, I also introduced to different modality of healing. So it is not Reiki, but it's a kind of energy healing. So in 2015, I started to do healing stuffs and also the prayer for other people as well. And then a very big paradigm shift happened to me. It's like I was in Bangladesh, and in the mid of 2019, we moved to England. So I was not quite sure that why why I'm moving to England, but later I found that there was something universe wanted me to move forward. So,
Wow.
and 2020 was a very intense year for all of us. I
Oh,
don't want
yes.
to recall all those things, but the thing is, in the context of spirituality and self-awakening, so it was very intense for me. And in this period of time, 2020 and 2021, so I deep dive into the spirituality to seek the answer what a seeker always want to know. And we will discuss this thing after a little bit when our questionnaire session will start. So then I was introduced to Reiki as well, to heal myself and also heal the soul. And then I know that there are other modalities as well. I did the Usawa Reiki, and then I also introduced to the Karuna Reiki as well. So Karuna Reiki, it's more like you know, healing the our heart, our conscious mind. Is like our energetic body. So I was introduced to that Reiki stuff. And the thing is, uh, after doing my Reiki course, when I was healing others, then suddenly I found my current mentor, Tim Walter, and he's a house healer, author, and also a alternative life coach. So I'm really blessed to get a teacher like him. So
Wow.
he introduced me with dowsing and the house healing stuff. Since
Yeah.
then, I am also in house healing and dowsing, and also the intuitive consultancy. Because what I have found that people when ask me something, and if I give them the answer, which I'm always trying to connect with divine, and then give them
Yeah.
suggestions, so they always return to me that things works. So since then I thought that probably divine wants me to move in that direction as well. But apart from that, right now I am also a software developer.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot in lots of different areas.
Yeah, right.
How do you keep the balance between everything?
I'm not going to say difficult, but the thing is, it's challenging.
Yeah.
So you need to. I mean, I have two kids as well. So
Wow. Goodness me. I mean, that's a full-time job in itself, isn't it?
right.
Let's be honest.
So what I have found that when you have too much to do, then something, all those divination, all those type of things are getting a little bit easier for you to perceive.
Right. Yes.
So probably, I
Yes.
mean, I'm blessed.
Yes.
Yeah.
I totally get that. And does the universe ever quieten things down in one area so that you can focus where you need to focus, and kind of takes a bit of a
Yeah,
lead? I found that myself.
yeah. I mean, I can also, I mean, in a previous talk, you also explained how you also shifted from your main career to the spirituality. So for
Yes.
everyone, it's difficult, and I'm also
Yes.
in that pathway. So I believe when divine will give me the instruction to move, then I will definitely move forward to right path.
Wow. It's
Right.
it's a challenge, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's just staying open and trusting. Um, yeah, that's challenging in itself, but it works out. It really, really works out.
Yeah.
And take that from me.
Thanks.
I've been through some really interesting, scary times since starting on my path, and it does work out in really sometimes really dramatic ways.
Mhm.
But yes, there's always a way forward.
I just want to add one thing here. After coming to the UK, so I have introduced with many people who are into spirituality, because when I was in Bangladesh, there was not that much people who are more into spirituality. But after coming here, probably that's why divine wanted me to be here. So
Yes.
what I have found that many people having a very hard time to shift their main career to another career. But
Yeah.
the thing is, since my childhood, what I have seen that for me, it might be, I mean, in every aspect of challenges, it's a little bit harder for me, but it's not quite difficult to overcome. So it's challenging, but I'm really blessed that God always helped me to move forward very easily.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's great. I think also, sometimes when we have challenges, it's down to some personal development and growth that we need to
Right.
go through. So it can be around a lesson. So it sounds like you haven't had to learn any of those lessons so far. So that's great. Let's hope it carries on like that for you. You probably did in a previous existence, maybe. Or
You're right. So
yes.
we can also talk about in our further sessions. So it's like
Yeah.
a past life regression or something like that. So we can also talk in some other day.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah.
And of course, it's fine if our audience do. If you don't believe in that, that's absolutely fine, because there's always more than one way to look at these things. We're looking at all of these big subjects through our human brains and also with our kind of energetic senses that from our energy work. So it's that combination of the two things. And as human beings, we like to story tell. We like to tell stories, and that's how we communicate and how we grasp onto things. And it's a really important part of being human.
Right.
So so this is just the particular way that some people like to talk about things that we don't really have a clear idea of because they're not in our immediate understanding. Does that sound right to you as well? Does that sound right to you, Tanvir?
The thing is, it's a little bit advanced topic, but the thing is, as our audience are interested into this talk, so definitely they will also increase their ability to move forward for a higher understanding, to understand the higher dimension as well.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
but there is I mean, in spirituality, what I have realized that there is nothing called as absolute right and absolute wrong.
No, exactly. Same
Yeah.
here. I mean, whenever we talk about these things, it always feels as though we've kind of come to the same sort of conclusions through our experiences and thinkings. So that's really, really great.
Right.
So that leads us very beautifully to our first question. So what exactly is spirituality to you, Tanvir? How would you explain it to people?
To me, spirituality is a journey. So it's like finding yourself, because when we are very much confused, we look answer anywhere rather than looking inside me.
Yes.
Yeah. So the thing is, to me, when I was doing meditation and I tried to figure it out, those answer for my actual questions. So two of the questions intrigued me. I think most of the spiritual person also have similar type of questions. So one is, who am I? And another one is, why I am here. These two questions pushed me towards spirituality, because you cannot find those answers anywhere. You need to look inside you, that who you are actually, and what is your purpose for being here. And the thing is, it's a little bit in-depth understanding of mind, but for general purpose, I mean, for general audience, if they want to know in a simple word what is spirituality, so I will explain it in such a way. Spirituality is a study of metaphysics, of senses which we don't perceive through our fifth sense. So it's like we can perceive the smell, taste, and we can feel the heat, everything. So spirituality is also something like which we cannot get the information apart from those five senses. So it's more like you are getting the divination, you are getting the information from the divine for your answer.
Yeah, it's a difficult one to talk about, isn't it? Because as well, spirituality can mean so many different things to different people.
Right.
It's as unique and subjective as you can get, really.
Right.
I think it's such an interesting and huge topic. So thank you for summing it up so beautifully. It's clearly something that you've given a lot of thought and time into, and crystallized that into that very lovely explanation. So thank you, Tanvir.
Thanks, Emma.
Um,
So I just want to add another thing. So if someone says, "What is spirituality?" So we can say a sense of finding yourself, finding your higher self inside you. That's
mm,
my, I mean, that's the one thing we can say it in one sentence. Because
yes.
spirituality is, as you have told, yeah, it's an understanding or realization of different peoples in different ways. So how they perceive it, it's completely depends upon them. But
Mm,
most of the people who don't know actually what is spirituality, sometimes they mix those spirituality with the, the ritual of the religions or these sort of things. To
mm.
me, it's more than following the ritual or the uh, the religions. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, completely agree. I feel
Right.
like for me, spirituality is also to do with um, our feeling of connection with the larger kind of being part of something that is so much bigger than we are and that we can't possibly comprehend, and having that sense of connection with that and perception of that. Um, so, kind of that sense of awe and mystery. Some people get it when looking out at the night sky. Some people will have it when walking through nature, and they'll just be struck by this
Right.
immensity and amazing kind of almost like a being or an ecosystem that we're part of.
Right.
And yeah, so it's that's I think that's also part of it for me. A sense of wonder and awe and connection with something that you can't possibly fathom or put into words.
In one word, we can say the oneness. Being with the oneness.
Yes, yes, we can. Although I think sometimes for me, describing it and kind of putting it in these terms can sometimes resonate. Oneness is a great term for it, but I feel like maybe for folks who haven't read into spirituality and who maybe are kind of dipping their toe in the water a little bit with
Right.
this interview, maybe a sense of an experience that they might have had that they say, "Oh yes, that sounds like what I had, that time such a long time ago or last week."
Right.
Um, Big kind of, even though it's bigger than the thing itself, it's big and profound to them, and they feel it,
Right.
kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah.
So from that really interesting and fascinating and multifaceted topic, let's move on to dowsing. So, Tanvir, what exactly is dowsing? And I'm really curious to know how it works.
Yeah, in a simple word, dowsing is a reading of those divination message which we are seeking,
Mm-hmm.
because the thing is, our mind is always moving from here to there, so it's really difficult for us to be focused and get the answer. But
Mm,
what the fact is, I mean, our body senses different kind of energies, and it can ripple it right away without
mm-hmm,
making any false movement.
mm-hmm,
So to me, dowsing is a process through which we can get the answer which we right now don't know, but we are looking for the answer, and
mm-hmm,
the answer is coming from the divination. And
mm-hmm,
also, it is like reading the energy.
mm,
So how it works? There is a term called kinesiology. So it's like
mm-hmm,
your body very much sensitive. When you're sensitive to energies, so
mm-hmm,
our body receive those energies. And when we program our pendulum or our dowsing tools, like how to respond, and
mm-hmm,
then our body makes those devices move or rotate in a certain direction to
mm-hmm,
get certain kind of answer. Sometimes it might be yes no questions, and
mm-hmm.
sometimes it might be something like a very deeper understanding which we right now I don't know, but I am seeking the answer. So most of the time, if we are allowed to get those information, we are getting this information through dowsing.
Right. But how do you get hold of information that is other than that? That you don't even know what it is that you don't know. How that kind of complex.
Yeah. So,
How's it
so
work?
uh, I mean, different people can perceive that information in different way. Uh,
Mhm.
for the simplicity, I can give you an example. So,
Please do.
yeah, I mean, a few months ago, when I was dowsing for a lost object, so I was looking all the corner in my home. So, where is that device? I wasn't
Mhm.
able to figure it out. Then I started dowsing that. Where is it? So it shows me some places that it might be there. So I looked all over those places, but it
Mhm.
was not there.
Right.
The fact is, it was
Mhm.
not there. But
Okay.
after an hour, I
Mhm.
found that object in other places.
Oh wow!
So,
It showed you where
so
it wasn't.
yeah, so,
Awesome. Well, that's an
yeah,
answer, isn't it?
yeah. So
Yeah.
the thing is, when you are connected, so it's not to me.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're connected, if you're being honest with your questions, so
Mhm.
even if you don't get the answer right away, the way you want to perceive the answer, but you are
Yes.
going to get the answer.
Yeah.
So I mean, probably it's an example of what I have just told you. Sometimes you have a question, and you don't know how. I mean, what to expect for that answer. But when you are moving in the park, you might see a leaflet is
Mhm.
boldly saying no or yes or do certain stuff. You will pick that
Okay.
information, and you can connect that thing. Oh, that might be the answer.
Wow.
Yeah,
So it's like the universe, you're asking the universe, and the
yeah,
universe is giving you,
yeah.
yeah. So, is the pendulum or the rods or whatever it is
Mhm,
you're using to dowse with, is
mhm.
that then a focus?
Uh, it's a very broad topic because
Mm.
there are different kinds of pendulum. If I want to show you that this is a crystal pendulum. It's an amethyst based,
Oh,
but
wow. Beautiful.
uh, as you know,
Mm.
crystal has some different kind of energies which it can resonate. So
Hmm.
sometimes it can be give you right answer very quickly, and sometimes it may give you the wrong answer because it has its own kind of energy perceiving
Mm.
abilities.
Yeah.
And the thing is, that's why I always use for general purpose pendulum. It's like there are lots of pendulum. Right now I'm using this pendulum. This is
Oh, wow.
isis pendulum. It's mostly
Hmm.
used for the healing and other stuff. So it is a metal pendulum made of brass.
Hmm.
And the thing is, those sort of pendulums are less sensitive to other energies like crystal.
Okay.
But the
Yeah.
thing is, what you were asking, that whether a pendulum has its own ability to perceive energies or not.
Hmm.
Some people say yes, but to me, what I have found that is completely depend upon you, that
Right.
how you are perceiving the energies, how you're sensitive to the energies. So
Okay.
based on that, your kinesis, I mean your body will produce that what movement I need to show.
Hmm.
But for the other pendulum which I've shown you, the crystal one, so
Hmm.
sometimes it might perceive some other energies as well. So it will try to reflect those type of energies to show its own result rather than
Hmm.
focusing your actual answer which you are seeking. So for
Right.
crystal pendulum, it might be a difficult, but for other pendulum, to me, it's mostly how you are sensing the energies, and through your body, you are getting the readings that how, I mean, whether there is an energy line, you're crossing an energy line, or you are sensing energy block.
Mm.
Yeah. So
Thank you. Oh, that's
you're welcome.
absolutely fascinating.
Yeah.
Wow. So I'm really curious to know, because I'm super geeky, and I'm sure that our audience would be really interested as well, Tanvir. Do
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, and can you explain to us the history of dowsing? Who was it who first dowsed? Because there are many different forms of divination out
Yeah.
there, and I use tarot myself.
Mhm.
So, yeah, when did it start in the form that we have today?
I mean, it's a very difficult question because there is no
Mm,
certain pinpoint of time that shows that since then this person started dowsing. But
okay.
if we go back to our ancient civilizations, we found those type of modalities like in Egyptians when they're building the pyramids.
Hmm.
There are some indication that they're using some divination tools as well, so which
Yeah,
is a kind of dowsing as well.
yeah.
And in the Chinese philosophy, you also know the I Ching.
Oh, yes, yeah,
Yeah, so it's also kind of dowsing, dowsing as
yeah.
well. So I mean, uh, mainly dowsing was used to perceive some worldly information. It's like
Mm,
finding the water source and finding the metals buried under the ground, so, or the
mm,
minerals,
mhm.
these sort of things. But in the medieval period of Europe, so they started. I mean, they get introduced to dowsing with the wide rod to find the water source, underground water source. Yeah,
Okay, so that was in medieval times.
medieval times for the European zone. But
Wow.
the thing, but the thing is, in the Renaissance time, so
Mhm.
it's also get more popularity to find water source.
I was going to say, wasn't that a bit dangerous though? Wouldn't that have been perceived as witchcraft?
And definitely, and
Yeah,
what happened to, I mean, it's quite a dark history, right?
yeah, yeah.
So
Wow.
yeah, I mean, since at that period, people who used to do this type of reading, because in all of the major religion you can find that getting divine message from the divine is not kind of allowed.
Mm.
So
Yes, not to individuals anyway. It's only by the church. So, Tanvir, I find this so interesting. Could you tell me, is there an organisation or a professional body that I could research online or contact for more information about this?
yeah, definitely. I mean, there are different kind of dowsing societies, but
Oh, right.
and in UK, there is a body. It's called British Dowsing Society.
British Dowsing Society. Right,
Right.
I'm writing
Yeah.
that down. Thank you.
Yeah. So they have classified dowsing into four categories. So
Oh,
one
right.
is water dowsing. So we
Yeah.
already have told that uh, what is water dowsing, and
Mhm.
second is the archaeological dowsing.
Oh,
So
right.
it's also including the metal or all those stuffs as well.
Hmm.
And third one is dowsing for healings. So when we are doing healing stuffs, and the last one, which I, I am doing it mostly, is like
Hmm.
sensing the subtle energies.
Ah, right.
Yeah, so it's like finding the earth energy, finding is there any kind of ley line or underlying water stream. So these sort of
Mm,
things, it's covered inside the subtle energies. So
right.
we, so these are the four major sections of dowsing which British Dowsing Society mostly focus. Yep.
Fantastic. Are they the main one then? The main society?
Yeah. The thing is, there are different kind of chapters as well.
So, Tanvir, you've already shown us one of your pendulums, and we've mentioned rods and things like that. So, what are the common tools used in dowsing? Are there any others? And can you go into a bit more detail about the ones that you've already talked about?
That is a very good question, Ima. So commonly we use L rod and Y-shaped stick,
Mhm.
pendulums, or even hands. So let me show you
Oh,
some of it. So uh, these uh, these are the L rod. Can you see it?
ah, yes, I can. I've
Yeah,
seen those before. Don't they use those? I think United Utilities used to use those, didn't they, to find
yeah, right.
leaks and
So
things.
right. So most of the time, people who are, there are different categories of people who are more biased into different kind of pendulum, different kind of dowsing tools. So
Hmm.
some are more comfortable with the dowsing rod, and some are with pendulums as well. So
Hmm.
this is the L rod, and I have shown you the pendulum as well. So this
Yeah.
pendulum, and I don't have the Y stick, but the
Hmm.
thing is, it's the most ancient tools which used to find the water source.
Yeah.
So these are the main tools. But if you can align yourself, and then you will get those answer at the very moment when it's came to you, and you
Hmm.
can feel that whether it's what is the actual answer. So your
Hmm.
body. And the thing is, when we are getting any answer from the divine, so it's first we perceive through our mind, then body, then it's transferred to tools. So
Okay.
so that's why I always say that body is the main dowsing tool.
Yes. You
Right.
have to be very good at setting your energy and clearing it, so
Right,
you don't have
definitely.
interference from the
Right.
mind, for example, don't you? For that
Right.
kind of
So,
thing.
I just want to give an example. So, such as Buddha, Muhammad, Jesus. So, they always get the revelations from God, and they're guiding us. But
Hmm.
we haven't seen they're using any dowsing tools, because they are so much sensitive to energies that they can get the answer right away, and they can deliver those things. So, it is a tools to move forward to the spirituality,
Hmm.
so so that we can get those answer very quickly. So that's
Hmm.
why most of the time what's happened, if we are not quite conscious about our questions or our intentions,
Hmm.
the tools will give wrong answer, because our body will not receive the correct answer, and it can move with the energies which are surrounding us. So
Hmm.
whatever the energy, it might give you result, but it is not the result what we are looking for.
Yes,
Yeah.
I can very much resonate with that. It's very much the same with giving tarot readings as well, with that form of
Right.
divination.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
person needs to have a set question, a set kind of, yes, intention behind it to be able to get an answer and to engage with that answer.
Hmm.
Um, and quite often when people come
Hmm.
for a reading, for a tarot reading, they don't have that. They just it's quite vague, and also they want to know specific things that are actually up to them, or maybe
Hmm.
can't be known at that time because there are too many other circumstances around it, or they're not the important question really. There's something underneath.
Yeah, that's another things I want to mention. So when I was started dowsing, so I was doing dowsing for very common questions like how many cars in my parking lot. So
Hmm.
sometimes I get correct answer, and
Hmm.
sometimes I'm not getting the correct answer. Then
Yeah.
I asked team, so why I'm getting this sort of different answer, because my intention was correct.
Mm.
Then he came back with a very good idea that probably universe don't want to misuse your thought process, what you
Mm.
are asking from the divine. So it's like ask the actual question what you need to know. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter how many cars in your parking lot, it's not going to help you anyway.
This is very true. And there's
Yeah,
also the thing of free will, isn't there?
yeah,
There
yeah.
are so many variables and other
Mhm,
people's free will and
mhm.
connections that we can't possibly know about. So sometimes because you knowing the answer to something could affect things and make it actually not happen,
Right.
you can't, it all of these things, it can be very these things can be very, very changeable. So that's why kind of going to the heart of what you're looking for,
Mhm.
what's underneath those kind of superficial answers,
Right.
can be more helpful. And it also helps you to crystallize and to get a clear idea of where you are and why you're asking and
Yeah.
what exactly it is you want to know, and what you're going to do with that information if you are able to get it.
Right.
So yes, so thank you for that answer. That
No,
was
no, you
really
just
interesting.
said, very basic things. So, yeah, the thing is, dowsing is also help to make our ideas crystallized, what you just have mentioned. So,
Mm,
over the time, we develop that skill. So, it's like in which way and which direction we need to ask the question. Because most of the
yeah.
time, we find the answer like there are three type of answer generally we get from the dowsing tools. So it's
Mhm.
like yes, no, and we it's really not know the answer. So when you are over the time, when you develop the skill, you know that in which direction you need to ask the actual questions. That
Yeah.
helps a lot. So,
Yes, and I think that helps just in general with kind of when you're in the world of energy work and spirituality and things like that, having the clear question and having that clarity and
mhm.
focus is something that I've found is talked about in an awful lot of kind of spiritual texts and things like that. So yeah, it's
Yep.
really interesting. Um, so yes, that brings us on to the next question, which is what's the connection between dowsing and spirituality, Tanvir?
Dowsing is the gateway to poke your intuition to
Mm-hmm.
get the answer from the divination,
Mm.
and which is guiding us in the road of the spirituality. In a simple sentence.
Yes.
So the thing is, when you deep dive into in your inner self to seek the answer, and suddenly you have found that you are asking a questions, the answer might be is roaming surrounding you, but you are not perceiving the answer in a very concrete way.
Mm.
Then dowsing definitely can help you to get the actual answer what divine is going to ask or say or whatever the question. Suppose, who am I? So it's a very broad questions. The pendulum cannot give you the answer in a very straightforward who am I. But the thing is, when you just ask something like, do I need to do that thing, or am I in the right person to go in this path, then you can get the answer through the pendulum or the any kind of divination tools through the
Mm.
dowsing. So in that
Mm.
way, I found that it's the key way to keep you more focused to
Mm.
get the answer from the divine. Yep.
Lovely. Thank you, Tanvir. It
Yep.
sounds like, because I'm not sure whether our audience will have experienced this, but if you look at practices like meditation and Buddhism, quite often within spiritual practice,
Mhm.
there's a there's a tendency to go towards trying to create peace and calm within yourself and within your mind and your heart and your energy
Right.
to be able to progress within that path. Um, and it sounds like dowsing can be helpful for people who haven't maybe got to that stage of being kind of more like a mirror and being
Yeah.
clear
Right.
and relaxed and calm and still inside.
Yeah.
It can help show them from the world of the physical what's going on,
Yeah.
so that they've got that as a focus, and they're not kind of getting in their own way then maybe.
Yeah, it's just a key to open the door of
Mm,
different kind of questions. So when you have the question,
yeah.
you are sticking inside you, and then when you unlock the door, you get the answer, and the door of the spirituality also open as well along with those questions and the answer, and you move to in a more higher step to achieve something more what
Mm,
divine can offer to you. Yeah.
yeah. Thank you. Yes.
You're welcome.
Awesome. So you've already mentioned dowsing for guidance just now, and you've mentioned spiritual healing as well earlier. So how does dowsing work with spiritual healing as one of those 4 categories?
Well, people who are used in energy healing, they're most of the time you will found that they're clearing some blocked energies from the human body, or it's not only human body, in any bodies or any kind of situations they're blocking those stuffs. But what dowsing helps is like identifying the energies, the type of energies, and the intensity of the energies, and based on those information you can be more precise how to heal.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the word. Dowsing is, you can say it, it's like a car. When the car I mean, when you turn on the engine, so
Mm-hmm.
engine is kind of producing energies, and dowsing is like the RPM meter. So
Mm-hmm.
it's showing you that how what is the rotation of the engine right now. So
Right.
so it's like identifying those blocked energies, or
Mm-hmm.
where is there is a ley line. So what is how detrimental it is, and how you can heal. So you can ask all those questions, and then you can just uh, precisely say that, okay, this is that what is blocking here, and now
Mm-hmm.
I can heal with my own ideologies or own philosophies, like with Reiki or other energy healing, how we can clear it, or angelic healing, whatever
Mm-hmm.
modality I'm going to use. So in medical terms, it's like diagnosis. So
Yeah.
dowsing helps us like diagnose all those things, and with our own uh, abilities, and from the help of divine we can treat or we can heal.
Mm.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tanvir. Yeah, it sounds like dowsing is probably quite a useful tool for people who are very new to energy work,
Mhm.
because there are certain, over time you build up your awareness and your knowledge and your experience, so you're able to say, I feel this in this part of my body in this way, and in the past when that's happened, it's meant this has been the case, and so then I've done this. So
Mhm.
it sounds like if you notice what you're experiencing yourself in your body at the same time as you're dowsing, then you're probably able to learn a lot more clearly
Right.
how what's what with energy work. So it's probably a really helpful tool for self-development within other healing modalities as well,
Right.
sounds like. So Tanvir, what's the role of intention in dowsing? How does that work?
uh, I think we already have talked about it a little before. So
Yeah, with the
the thing is, the
questions.
intention is the main thing for dowsing, because if you don't have a clear intention that what you are going to perform, you are not going to get the correct answer in any ways. When we are setting our intention for dowsing, what is happens, we are very specific that yes, these questions is for that particular theme which I'm going to ask for the greatest good for the client, or some other people, or some other things, and also myself, because
Mm,
sometimes the question might be valid, but it's not needed to know.
yes, yeah,
So
that makes sense.
intention is the key to get a good dowsing result.
Right, so it's kind of a bit more like a dialogue.
Mhm.
You're giving the reason why you need to know that information, and if the divine
Mhm.
realizes that you don't actually need it for that reason, and it would just muddy the waters, then you don't get the information, kind of thing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Good stuff. So, that also brings us very nicely onto the next topic, which is ethics.
Mhm.
So, are there ethical considerations when you're dowsing, Tanvir? And have you ever kind of had a situation where ethics have prevented you from dowsing?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So when we first start dowsing, we start question right away without asking or taking any permission from uh, any anyone. Just start dowsing. Yeah, okay. What is the result? Yeah, is he a good person or bad person? Is he doing this or that? What my partner is doing right now? So
What will
yeah,
what will the lottery numbers be?
yeah, yeah. I will also cover that thing as well here. In the point of ethics, you need to be very ethical for dowsing, because if you don't have the permission to get certain information which is not good for you as well as for your clients, you are
Mm,
not allowed to douse on that particular questions. Because
mhm,
even if you are going to douse, there is a high possibility that you will get a wrong answer, and
mm.
you are also open a detrimental portal for you.
Right.
So
Wow.
the thing is, you are trying to twist the law of nature. So I just want to give an example. So generally, what happens when clients come to us, they're quite open. So generally, we also ask that, okay, we will do this and that. Are you okay with those type of things? So one lady was kind of saying that, yeah, I'm okay with that, everything. So she was positive in every questions.
Mhm,
So when I was trying to figure out block and why that block happened, to get more deeper answer. So
mhm,
when I get into the heart chakra, so for
mhm.
that lady, it's like I'm getting a sense like you are not allowed to ask question.
Right.
So I was just a little bit shocked, because the lady gave us the permission. So
Mm.
okay, you can you can go through, but when it's dowsing, it shows that no, you don't have the actual permission. So sometimes what's happened, people might say that okay, go with it, but from their inside, they're not quite open yet.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
something I think we touched on in the last one of these chats we had, the last one of these interviews, is when people say that you have permission to, that they're
Mhm,
fine with giving Reiki,
mhm.
but when it comes down to it, they're actually blocking it energetically,
Right.
because they're not. Whether or not they're actually conscious of not being okay with it is another matter, because that really
Right.
depends on what their level of self-awareness and self-development is at that point. But yeah, as long as you know, that's the important thing.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Probably sometime you might ask a questions. Probably you might be crossing the boundaries, and you might get the answer as well. But the thing
Mhm,
is, probably divine is going to give you that answer. It might help the other person, and you are not uh, actually doing something wrong. So
mm,
you might get those type of answer as well. But as long as you are aligned with uh, the divine, and
mm.
you have a good intention, uh, you are okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Follow your heart, I guess, is the thing,
Right.
isn't it?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, awesome. So, um, I was going to ask next,
Mhm.
can anybody learn to dowse, or is it one of those things that only some people can, like a superpower that you're born with, or you have to have a special gift that's passed down from generation to generation? How does it work?
Okay. A very common question for the beginners. So it's like, uh, I am not a spiritual person. I am not this or that. Am I capable to dowse, or uh, is it for me? I don't have any ancestor who are into spirituality, or is this lots of things. But the
Mm.
thing is, dowsing can be learned by anyone,
Okay,
because
good, great.
because what I believe, every person is unique, and they're here. I mean, in this earth, to serve a purpose.
Mhm,
And when God created us, so that means He also gave us some certain kind of responsibility which we need to
mm,
perform here.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't poke those answer, that am I in the right way? Am I doing the right thing? So it might be quite hard to figure it out that am I in the right direction or not. So I
Mm.
think divine will help you to get yourself if you have a good intention. But it's true that you need to spend time to develop that skill. So if
Mm.
you're just asking that, okay, is it going to work for me, you just dowse for 1 or 2 weeks and you get a very random answer and you stop dowsing and you don't
Mm.
trust on it. If you don't have a trust, definitely you are not going to get a consistent result. And the thing is, not every time you will get 100% result, because universe also kept something hidden or secret by himself, by itself, or whatever
Mm.
you say. It's not
Mm.
going to expose everything to you.
No.
So the thing is, as well as we are above 50% mark, so that means we are in the right directions. So I mean, if you flip a coin, there is a possibilities you might be 50% time chances there might be you will win or you may lose. But as
Mm.
long as it's around 75%, you're
Mm-hmm.
getting 75% result, you are doing very good with dowsing.
Mm.
So it's like pushing the probability, the bell curve,
Yes.
moving towards more right. But the thing is that
Awesome.
some people, I mean, very sensitive, so they start to get answer right away. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say it's gifted, but it's like uh, probably they did something good in their past life. so
Mm-hmm.
so or probably used to do dowsing or these sort of things, so the skill, some skill also came down from that modality as well. And
Mm.
they're getting a very good result very quickly. So
Mm.
sometimes one of uh, the dowser I was looking at a video, so she was explaining that in a store, so she observed a person went to buy a pendulum from
Mm-hmm.
a metaphysical store.
Mm-hmm.
So so when she go to the shop rack, a pendulum started to move.
Wow.
So I mean, I haven't observed it myself, but yeah, the lady was quite renowned, so she explained that phenomena. So
Mm-hmm.
that means that uh, pendulum is resonating with her energies.
Yeah.
I mean, and that wants to be with her.
Mm. It's like they're already attuned to each other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So
Oh, yeah.
this certain type of things happens, but for general people, we need to develop the skill, and it's very easy things to develop as long as you are connected with the divine and grounded, and you have
Mm.
the good intention. Over the time, you will start to get the result. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you, Tanvir. And is it worth if somebody's interested in developing in that direction
Mhm.
and they're not quite sure where to start, are there some resources? Are there kind of teachers that you could recommend or somewhere to go to find a local teacher or online courses or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, there are lots of information in the YouTube, but what I believe, information can make someone transform. So transformation, we look for the transformation. So to transform yourself, you need a guidance. So
Mm.
definitely a teacher or a guided person who,
Mm.
uh, I mean, for online course or whatever, in the presence with the master or the teacher, it might, whatever the modality one choose, but it will help more than just only looking into the YouTube and start dowsing.
Mm.
It may give you the answer, or there are lots of information, but it will take lots of time to transform what one is looking for.
Yeah.
So I will definitely suggest my teacher Tim Walter. So he's a great dowser. So there are also lots of teachers, Adrian and Dawn. If someone is interested, and uh, they can put their comment below, and we can
Mhm.
get back to them. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and we
there
could
are
put
lots of
links in
teachers.
the description as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
So, what are some practical applications of dowsing in daily life? Just day to day stuff.
Yeah, it depends. Sometimes, for a water dowser, so
Mhm.
definitely his profession is dowsing for water to know the answer, that whether uh, there is a water source beneath the ground or not.
Mm.
Uh, Similar as for the archaeological dowser, their main purpose is to find whether there are any kind of archaeological evidence buried beneath the ground, or
Mm.
is there any metal beneath the ground. But
Mm.
for general people like us, so what we can use, like sometimes we are a little bit confused that whether it would be a good decision or not. So there is a
Mm.
high possibilities that we are in a dilemma, that whether
Yeah.
to choose answer A or answer B.
Hmm.
Then probably it's a good idea to dowse to get the answer. But
Hmm.
I also want to say, if someone is very new to uh, dowsing, and if he ask a very important questions like, should I buy this house or not?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so probably it might not a wise things to do, because you need to do your good diligence to figure it out all those answer. Then probably you might figure it out that if you get all the questions correct, then you might at the final decision, so then you can
Mm.
dowse it whether it would be good or not. But just dowse, should I buy this house or should I buy this car, it's not a good thing to do. Yeah,
Definitely not.
yeah.
Oh, thanks, Tanvir. That's great.
Yeah.
So, having just about to wrap up now, but
Mm,
we've talked about divination and
mm,
spirituality. So,
mm.
would you consider dowsing to be more of a divination tool or more of a spiritual tool?
It's both actually. So it depends
Okay.
upon how you using it. So
Mm.
like spiritual people are, for me, when I have a confusion, I dowse to get an answer, which
Mhm.
which might be like blocking something, or I'm not quite sure about the answer. And when I get the answer, it's open the door to go to the next step.
Yes.
So for me it's working in that way. Suppose you want to dowse for seeking water well, whether there is a water source or not. It is not uh, I mean modern science is not that much uh, you know reach right now to identify whether there is a water source or not. So
Mm.
they can do some probabilistic analysis over a area and then drill for a water source. But
Mm.
but when you are dowsing, if you are a good dowser who can sense the uh, energies of water, and figure it out whether there is a uh, uh, drinkable water beneath this particular point or not,
Mhm.
then definitely that's a kind of divination as well, because divine is asking, giving you those answers. Yeah, you can drill it here, so you
Yeah.
don't need to drill all of the places to find water source. I just want to
Yeah.
add one question. So,
Yeah.
probably one answer, so not question, sorry.
Mhm.
So it's like you are a dowser, and
Mhm.
you are trying to dowse, and you're trying to figure it out whether there is a water source beneath this spot or not. And
Mhm.
you figure it out that yeah, there is water source. and then you call the water drill company, they drill it, and they figure it out that's a sewage. So the the thing is, the question should be specific, whether there
Yes.
is so whether there is water, drinkable water or not, whether it is viable to dig, how far we need to dig, or how deep we need to go,
Hmm.
then what
Yes,
is
you
the
don't want to
amount.
have to go miles down, do you, to get to?
Yeah, so there are lots of questions coming.
Mm.
Then that makes experienced dowser. So when over the time when dowser develop their skills, they're quite familiar with those type of scenarios. So sometimes probably when we are starting dowsing, we are suppose when I was dowsing for how many cars in my parking lot. Okay, I saw that there are 3 cars in my parking lot, but after some time when I try to figure it out whether there are 3 cars or not, I figure it out there are only 2 cars.
Hmm.
So you're thinking that okay, dowsing is not giving the right answer, but what there might be a possibility that the 3rd car just moved from the parking lot.
Yeah.
When you were dowsing it was there, but now when you come back, so the thing is we need to be confident, we need to believe that things work, that dowsing is work for spiritual persons or the people who are looking for divination. We need to trust on it, and
Hmm.
if you have the trust, I am sure that you will be a skilled dowser very soon.
Fantastic. Well, I'm inspired. I'm inspired to give dowsing a go. Thank you so
Definitely.
much.
Yeah.
Oh, what a wonderful and enlightening conversation this has been. And I
Yeah.
hope you've all enjoyed it. Our audience have enjoyed it
Mhm.
as well. And if you're interested in finding out more, then the links to both Tanvir's website and mine are in the description below.
Yeah.
We'll be back again in about a week's time with our next interesting foray into the world of spirituality. And we hope to see you then. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for joining us. I've been Emma Milanathi, and Tanvir, is there anything you'd like to say before we close?
Thank you very much, Ima, for hosting today's session. And I will also want to thanks the audience as well who listened to these long conversations. I hope it will help in their life to figure it out whether they're going to use the dowsing for increasing their spirituality or getting the divination, whatever. But it will help them. Yeah.
Hmm. Yes, definitely. Oh, thank you. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. Bye.